SFC fans react. This is the aftermath, the last one, Michael, the last one of this season. But we're going to do it in the season review.
I think we need. I suggested to you earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Which the breakfast was the best part of the day.
I said it would be. I said it would be.
To be fair, yeah. Well, at least you're not getting us a breakfast now.
Joe,
right? I said that. I said that I think we could do a longer video. You know, like what we did at the Hilton.
I will do that.
So let us know. Let us know you want us. Well, I probably want to do it anyway. Like,
we'll do it anyway.
Go over the season and maybe go through the squad and see what we want to, who we want to get rid of. And
I'm sure people will still watch. You know,
I think so. Well,
if you still want to watch, I'm sure they will.
They'll see the length of the video that we'll probably talk about and see that they're off it. Oh. Right. You know the game. What can we say on the game?
Briefly on the game. I mean, for me again, I said this and somebody says, no, I thought there was. I don't think there's any desire there, no determination,
I agree with
no
you. I don't
effort.
think there was.
Just looked to me as like they were just going through the motions.
On the beach waiting for the season to go.
The place, I'm imagine what they were talking about when they were going into the thingy, like when they were first going up the stairs.
I mean when they were coming into the ground.
I bet they were probably saying, why are you going on holiday, Joby? Where are you going? Or what car are you buying in the summer?
Joe, right, if I was to sum up the game, as kind of expected, Sheffield Wednesday wanted it more than we did. Absolutely. Danny Rohl is, like I said, Danny Rohl, who I have really bigged up and championed.
And he's got me convinced.
Has once again convinced me that he's the person we should be going for. Now, to be honest, I think it's harder to get him now. Sheffield Wednesday have stayed up, but at the same time, no disrespect to Sheffield, and they are a very big club. Don't get me wrong, but we're bigger than they are. We should be able.
Sorry, Sheffield fans. There's a lot. I've interviewed a couple of them earlier on.
By the way,
they're a big club, and I've got a lot of time for them. But we are a bigger club than Sheffield. Sorry, but we are.
Not by miles, by the way. Not by miles.
But Sheffield are a big club. They're a big club.
They are a very big club, and I am very happy for their fans. I am very happy for their fans because they're like us. They're a club. Well, they're like us. They're a club that are too big for League One. Yeah. But what I would say is that again, if Sunderland aren't willing to try and go for Danny Rohl purely because of compensation, that's really pathetic. I'm sorry, that is pathetic.
Well, if that's the case, then KLD can basically just
do one.
He can do one. Like
I agree.
If you want somebody with a bit of ambition, and there's a man there.
Don't get me wrong. If Sunderland went for him and then he said, "No, I want to stay at Sheffield Wednesday," then that's fine. I can't blame the club for that. If we've shown the ambition to go for him and he says he wants to stay at Sheffield, which he's got every right to, then that's absolutely fine, no problem. But if we're not willing to go because it's like, "Oh, Chancery want 3-4 million," I'm not being funny, mate. Bloody pay it. Like, he's proven at Sheffield what he's worth. Now, people talk about Will Still, right? Danny Rohl's the person I want. Definitely. He's proven, 100%. With all due respect, and even Sheffield fans, I think some would agree on this, on paper, their team is not much better than Rotherham. I've said this to you loads of times.
Look what he's done with them.
He's got them, I think, finishing on nearly twice the points that Rotherham have had. Yeah. Now, I know Rotherham have been particularly terrible. And by the way, Sheffield have finished 3 points behind Sunderland in the table. And yes, we've collapsed. Yes, we've collapsed. From our perspective, that's embarrassing. But take something out of it for a minute. From Danny Rohl's perspective, that is remarkable. He's got 50 points in something like 35, 36 games with that squad. When he was taken over, they were near 11 points adrift of the bottom three. If McKenna deserves manager of the season, absolutely, for taking Ipswich Town up. But Danny Rohl's a very close second, I'm telling you. Danny Rohl is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And I think the job he's done has just been utterly remarkable. So for me, that's who we should be. That's who we should be going for.
Michael, you know football never ever works out what coach you want. No, since I've been a Sunderland fan, I've never gotten the coach by maybe Martin O'Neill.
Well, who you wanted,
that didn't work out. But I've never gotten the coach where I've wanted the coach. It's never happened.
Okay,
never happened.
Okay, I've got what you mean is in the coach when you've got the coach you want, it hasn't worked out.
No, like wanting the coach I want, Danny Rohl, and I think it's more than capable of us getting them.
Yeah.
Because surely we can pay more money than Sheffield. Surely we can pay more money. We're a bigger club.
Bear in mind who's their owner as well. Chancery. Chancery's an absolute moron. So but like I said, I thought you meant when you get the head coach you want. On those occasions, it hasn't worked out with the club. Because if you said that, I thought I might as well said I want Steve McLaren then, if that's the case. But seriously though, like the job he's like. What does it say about Sunderland? We're just repeating the same stuff over and over again. I'm even repeating myself by saying we're repeating ourselves because it's just got that tedious. Yeah. Thank God the season's done, man. It's just. I know.
People come to me today, and I've said as well. 3 months off not coming here. I've renewed. I don't know why I have, to be fair, but it's in the blood, and I'm not as thing as you. What you are. You are so passionate now. I used to be like Michael years ago.
No, but you go to games though.
I got in the games, but I used to be like you. But I've just since. I think this last few seasons.
To be fair, basically, to be fair, Shaun's got a child, I haven't, so
No, but
but that is a big commitment, But I know what you mean. Like it's.
But it's just, I just feel like.
Do you feel a bit de-energized?
I just feel as though we're a massive club and we're not. Nobody's sort of.
We're not acting like it, are we? No. Sometimes, no. That's my point. So look,
I think Donald and Methan's got a lingering effect on me still, and even though they're gone, I can still feel them like somewhere hanging about. Even though they've gone, and they're not cracked.
I know. I love your ranting about them too. I must admit. You're right. I'll get this out of the way because I know, obviously, for the sake of not taking up anyone else's time, I think that if I was to look through the whole season, the board have got to look at themselves. I'll get onto the players in a minute, by the way, because I'm sick of them getting absolved of blame, actually. But the board have got to massively look at themselves. They had a lot of goodwill a year ago. And by the way, when I say the board, I mean KLD, I mean Sartori, if you want to even include him in this.
What does he do? What does he do? What does he actually do?
Smile on Netflix.
30% in the club, and what does he actually...
He smiles on Netflix, that's it. Right. No, but seriously, right. KLD, Sartori, and Speakman as well. So, though this is crystal clear on YouTube, these three, KLD, Speakman, they've got to look at themselves here because I've said before, and I stood by, and we've said it over and over again. We don't think necessarily the sacking of Tony Mowbray was what derailed the season. What derailed him was Beale being the replacement. And Speakman
downgrading basically.
Well, exactly, massively. And the thing is with Beale, he came in, and I think Speakman must have known that a lot of people really didn't want the appointment. Said it wouldn't work. It won't work because and we did it anyway. That's arrogant. That's absolute arrogance from the board, and and I think they've got a lot of making up to do because of that. The other thing, even just looking away from the football for a minute. The Black Cats bar stuff around the derby, we've gone over that loads of times. That for a lot of supporters, that's rightly unforgivable. I'm struggling to forget. I'll never forgive or forget that. I can't.
Rolling out the red carpet for them, black and white, up the road. Yeah, you just don't do it, man.
Yeah,
you don't do it.
From Newcastle's perspective, they'll find it hilarious.
So they should.
But again, if it was the other way around, I mean, they're not stupid enough to do that. But the other way around, we'd be finding it funny.
You're in fast mode there.
Sorry, but it was the other way around. Yeah, that was funny. That back to happier times. But yeah, so I'll tell you right now, I haven't uploaded my video yet, but my title of it is going to be Regime Defining Summer Ahead for this. Because let's say for a minute, we know the Speakman Leon links with, my perspective is with Speakman and with KLD in particular, if they're staying this summer, this summer window will make or break their regime for me. It'll make or break the regime because if you're not going to be prepared, again, we understand financial fair play. We understand you don't want to go and spend above your means. We've said this before. But if you are not willing to go out and show any ambition and spend anything whatsoever, then they can get to fuck. Sorry for my language, they can get to fuck because they've got to realise how big of the size of the club we are. And contrary to what people say, size of the club actually does matter in a lot of instances. You want to look at another example, Paul Warne, when Rotherham were in the Championship, left to go to League One to go to Derby. Why? Because of the size of the club. It matters.
Exactly.
And that's just one example that's not to do with Sunderland. So it's big for them. But I want to make this clear. I think some of the players in recent weeks need to look at themselves and ask, did we give everything we really could have given in these games?
Mike Dodd said it during the week, and fair play to him. I mean, I
wouldn't complain if he went, but I think he's right on this
line.
I
feel a bit sorry for Mike Dodd. He's not good enough for me. Sorry,
I agree. He's nowhere near head coach material, unfortunately.
But what he said was, he said about the players.
He said he'd take his own...
Look at themselves in the mirror and
I agree.
Show some...
To me, I reckon that with Mike Dodd saying that, to me, unless I'm looking too far into it, and I said this to you this morning, I think that means he's off. If would he have said those comments? Would he have said those comments like that if he knew he was staying?
It seemed that way, didn't it?
I think I could be looking too much into it, but I reckon he's going.
That's why his comments I knew the film comments, even after the last few weeks, we're not going to get anything in this game today. It's because Sheffield, they've got something to play for. They've shown a lot of fight.
Our season was done a couple of weeks ago. Mathematically, it was done a couple of weeks ago.
Looking well organised, well drilled. Danny Rohl's looking like the real deal.
That's one success. I've convinced Shaun on Danny Rohl. But yeah, no, I just think. Look, will we get Danny Rohl? Unless he walks out on Sheffield, probably not. Do I want that? No. I want us to be able to go and pay the compensation and go and get him. But I don't think we get Danny Rohl. But I mean, look, we'll still. Or Rennie Marich.
Rennie Marich. I keep on getting that.
It'll be one of them two, probably. I think for me, I think it's Will Still. Because I just think it's too much of a coincidence otherwise
why he's left Reims,
to have left Reims to be when the end of the season comes and the job's available. And that apparently is I think I've been told that's apparently our first choice, Will Still. Now the problem is I was just saying to a couple of people there when we were speaking that Will Still, he's been hyped up so much by so many people that I'm kind of going, right, unless he does a cracking job, I'm not going to be as...
That's the same. I'm saying that this will still... I remember
he might be great, I don't know.
In January, when Tony Mowbray was sacked, we were linked with him, and I'm thinking, I didn't know nothing about him, apart from the fact he was in a championship...
Football Manager.
Football Manager was a... I don't know,
I think for me, right, with Will Still, we wanted him, and I think the only reason we didn't get him last time was because we didn't want to pay the compensation.
Yeah.
Now, apparently that was, 4 or 5 million quid. Now, I kind of got that to an extent, but I also feel like if we're getting away, if you're wanting him now when there's apparently a free agent, then all right, then you've got no excuses not to do it. The one thing I would say is the head coach, we can't just get a head coach for the sake of getting in a head coach. Well, it needs to be someone who's actually good enough.
Who's going to get this team out of this league.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, just to be clear, not the wrong way down to League One. We've done that before. We don't want to do it again.
Aim next season for me, and I'm sure you as well. It's got to be top 6. There can't be any excuses, Dave. Can there? Next season it has to be top 6. And because of this season, it's been that bad. Really, I think you'd probably accept top 6. And could you see about maybe the season after top 2? I think we're trying to build a promotion.
Where we finished this season, 16th, I think it is.
16th, yeah, on
That's
56
pathetic.
points.
That's pathetic.
Last season we finished on...
we finished on 6th with 69 points. So what's that, a 13-point drop-off?
I think the championship was really inconsistent last season, though, Michael. I've got to see that.
And we had Ahmad last year, didn't we?
I said that on Monday Night Interviews.
And Stuart for 13 games.
Yeah.
No, but my point is that...
Well said, mate.
My point is that I think the next season... Right, this season I think I've always said, look, therefore congratulations to Ipswich as well, because they've obviously gone up, but it shows you again what a good manager can do, because...
McKenna. Double promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Can be done.
Well, all I'll say is then, if Ipswich can go up this season, then I think we should be aiming for that next season.
Well,
I'm not saying top 2 necessarily, but I'm saying top 6.
Michael, if you get the right coaching, McKenna, Ipswich, promotion, right coaching, and the owner... invest or has a bit of ambition, Kiefer Moore, striker.
Or even if you don't spend loads of money, spend well, spend a bit more.
Wisely, wisely, yeah.
But that's my point. That's my point, though, right? Because when you look at, but even to a lesser extent, Danny Rohl, no experience, comes in, good coach, keeps Chef Wed up with that team he's got. The point is, if you get a good head coach, I think it makes a bigger difference than people think it does.
Definitely does.
It makes a massive difference. And if anything this season, and again, this only works if Sunderland allow this to be a positive, but the only one thing I could potentially see from the end of this season being as bad as it is that hopefully it wakes up the board and realises, shit, we need to...
How bad they've been.
Now, I know some comments will go where that probably won't happen, and yes, I can't rule that out because the board have made a lot of mistakes recently, but I think it's just been a car crash season all round. It's been a car crash end of the season all round.
It's been one of my... Honestly, Michael, I've said this earlier on, this season's been probably one of my worst ever. I mean, you're putting in that championship season. Michael, you know this. Michael Bowers, how many defeats did we have in that championship season under Chris Coleman and Simon Griffin?
Oh God, now you're asking. Hang on.
22 defeats this year.
We got like... I thought, has anyone got their phone? Anyone got their phone? Paul, can you just...
I thought you might know off the top of your head.
I'm not that sad, man. No way.
22 defeats all this season we've had, so I'm pretty sure it's close to that.
I'm curious to see... Hang on. No, hang on a minute. How many points did we get during that season?
I can't remember.
I think it was something like 39 points it might have been got, or 34, whatever it is. So... we won something like 7 games. So wouldn't it be? So I would imagine we probably lost about. 2017-18 Sunderland. I'll see if Paul can get it.
See if he can get it. But we'll talk while if he can get the defeats. How many defeats that year, Paul?
Here's what I will say, right? Like I've said, the players for me have to look at themselves. I think because we by the way, the board can still be criticised, Dodds can still be criticised, Speakman can still be criticised, and so they should be for this season. But let's not hide behind the players are young thing, because for me they've proven in other games that they are capable of performing. So for me, I think they're better than they've shown in the last few games.
Yeah.
But like I said before, midfield's the one area where we badly need experience.
Oh, yeah.
We need an experienced or at least more established, proven striker up top.
2.
And ideally 2, yeah. But like that West Ham lad, Mubama, I said this to you before.
You won't be against the signing.
I'm not against the signing as long as he's not our first choice striker.
Yeah.
If he is, that's really poor. Yeah. That is very, very, very. Well,
he's out there. Yeah.
Jay Stansfield is the one I should be going for.
Yeah.
He scored. What was it? 12, 13 goals in a Birmingham team's just gone down.
Relegated, yeah. Sorry, Tony Mowbray's Birmingham. Tony Mowbray's Birmingham got relegated.
Shaun hates Tony Mowbray. Oh, by the way,
people see, oh, Shaun away.
Here's one. The one thing that makes me a bit smug about Birmingham going down is they thought Joe Bellingham coming here was a sideways move. Now, we've been shit, but I'd rather finish 16th than 22nd. Do you know the thing is, us in Birmingham, though, serious, and by the way, them thinking Alex Pritchard was is our best player. Don't get me wrong, he's one of our best performers this season, but he's nowhere near our best player at the club. He wasn't anywhere near it. But I would say is, Birmingham, we've essentially done the same thing Birmingham's done. Sack someone when we're in a much better position where we ended up. The problem is, we just waited until we had more points on the board before we did it.
That American owner, he's obviously getting rid of Eustace, bought in Wayne Rooney.
How bad must he look now?
Thinking that's going to, and
John Eustace's Blackburn stayed up, didn't they? So, like, it's somehow Championship works. But
crazy.
Someone else I would get if we get since Leicester got promoted, Tom Cannon on loan.
I'd be all over that.
Well,
I was saying, has he not been interviewed? I think if CJ's been interviewed and he's trying to hijack this. Honestly, no, but seriously though, right? Tom Cannon is someone we should be looking at all over. Like,
just
oh wait, Paul, how long does it take you to get the 17, 18? Do you want me to look for you? Right, hang on. I was going to say, how does he not know how to look for?
Only one season in, that's what.
What season?
We just want to work out how many defeats we had in that season.
He put the season in under David Moyes. That's why.
22, 23.
No, hang on. It's 27. No, we're looking at how many defeats we had in the relegation.
What time is
season.
the club shop there close? Do you think it's now?
God knows.
So I want to see if.
Right, competition. So Sunderland lost. Oh, my God. Right. During the 2017-18 Championship season, we've won 7, drew 16, lost 23.
There you go. I said 23. I said 23, so I was
one defeat less.
One defeat less than that season.
Do you want to know something freaky as well?
Oh, well then.
We scored the same amount of goals this season than we did that season. We scored 52. We scored 52. Look,
which couldn't keep me going.
52, 80 goals. So defensively, we've actually not been too bad this year.
No. But
no, thanks,
anyway, Michael, moving on for the last 5 minutes. It was obviously the financial and the reports was released. The accounts.
£9 million loss, wasn't it?
£9 million loss. And I've got this somewhere. The wage bill. As people, let's just run this down, right? I've screenshot this as well.
Well, hang on. While Shaun's looking, and because he said this in other videos, rest in peace to Charlie Hurley, because obviously we know what's happened there.
I've already brought it up.
Yeah. And also from my perspective, rest in peace to Jack Shields. I didn't know Jack. Obviously, I knew Jack. I wasn't as a closer friend with him per se, but I was on good enough terms with him when I'd like to think I was, and that I recognised him when I saw him, and we had some good conversations about Sunderland. And he was a well-beloved member of the fan base. You can tell just the reaction on fan TV, on social media, even 29th minute clapping in the stadium. You know, you could tell how beloved he was. So rest in peace to his family and close friends, because thoughts are with them at the time.
I've already done the intro.
Yeah, you've said it in other videos. You've said it in other videos, but
yeah.
But I'm sure Shaun echoes those thoughts.
Anyway, onto the Chris obviously Witherspoon of the Weissman team narrowed it down. But Michael, if you look at our total revenue of the season 22 to 23, right? The total revenue was 35 million, yeah, right. The wages was the revenue with total turnover was 35 million. The wages was 25 million. So that only gives you 10 million to play with. And people want us to spend 10 million on a striker, on this, that, and the other. You need to understand that you can only spend beyond your means. So there you go there. The revenue was up by 36%, but the wages was up by 57%. You know what I mean? So that's your whole turnover was only 36 million last season.
It was the owner funding thing, 5.5 million.
So they've put 5.5 million into the club.
Well, KLD will have done.
Yeah.
Well, KLD's Lash not Tory. But the thing is, those accounts don't include the sales of Lahaji and Stewart.
That's last season.
Because that was last summer. That was like this. That's this season.
Yeah.
When there's accounts that have just been published there for last season.
So you're behind, isn't it?
And even though I think we were on TV quite a lot of times, the TV money you get in the Championship's nowhere near the level it is in the Premier League. So I think this season's accounts in a year's time, I'll be very keen to see what ends up happening with them, because we've obviously sold players, but we've also, in terms of fees, we've spent more. But that proves that because we went up from League One, we had to pay much more in wages because in the Championship. If you want to get the better players, you need to pay more bigger wages in the Championship.
It's went up. Was it 50% I've read there?
57% or whatever.
That's a big proportion.
It exactly is. But I suppose you could say when he says the revenue, does he primarily mean like gate receipts and like attendances?
That's your total turnover, Michael. So
some of that will have included the TV games.
So look,
weren't they?
basically, Michael, we're there.
Let's have a look.
That's there. So it's narrowed down. So can you see it? 2023.
The mic's in the way. That's why. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on.
So, match day income 10 million. Broadcast.
There you go.
Broadcast.
Actually, what was broadcast income?
10
so
million.
This must be in million. Hang on. Broadcast. No, it was 12.8. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 10 million broadcast commercial income, 12.8. This is another thing, by the way. This is why because this is quite relevant. This is why we've been saying that off the pitch we need to be much better, because the revenue you could get from that could make a massive difference for the future.
Yeah.
So this is why, sorry guys, I know we're repeating ourselves, but there's not much. What else can you really say?
No, but what I'm trying to say to people is our total turnover was 35, 36 million. Our wages was 25. So basically, out of your whole money what you've got for the club, you've only got 10 million left to use. Now, you can't really get many players with 10 million, can you? People say, why do we not spend money? You can't spend beyond whatever you turn.
No, you can't. However,
this is why I'm trying to put that across the page. Absolutely.
Right,
what it means.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Right, because I know
people say, why would we spend 10 million on there and 10 million on them? Because you can't. This is why we need to try and build players up like your Clarks and like
make massive sales
and Patterson, and then use that money to reinvest.
Because I'm with you. I agree that it's easy just to go and ask us to go and spunk money and just splash it all left, right, and centre. And by the way, that's what Shaun said there. That's just transfer fees. We're not including wages in that conversation as well. Wages are what ends up getting the wage bill up. But the point is, but with that money, once you then make the bigger sales, that's when I think it's fair for fans to start expecting to see bigger fees being spent. But like we said before, if you want to look at it this way, let's say, because you said about Anthony Patterson, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, Nathan Bishop, what a debut that was. But he wasn't meant to be playing anyway. But let's say with Patterson, right? So let's just say Patterson, maybe it wouldn't surprise me actually Patterson didn't play because maybe he's off in the summer.
Well,
right, let's for argument's sake say Clark and Patterson are the two assets. I've said before, you can afford to lose up to two assets, I think, but you can't lose any. Even if you get all this money, it's a lot of turnover that we don't need in one window. You need to keep a lot of the continuity already there. So my point is, let's say it was Clark and Patterson. Let's say they're the two assets that go, right? I've told you the two players we should be looking to replace them with. If you want to invest as smartly as possible, Liam Miller, who's done well at Preston this season, same position Clark is. He's now got a year left on his contract at Basel, who apparently want to sell him. And Victor Johansson at Rotherham, their goalkeeper. I know people will go, wait, we're a player from Rotherham, but just because he's gone down with them doesn't mean...
He saved them last season.
Last season he did save them massively, and I think a lot of their fans will say he's way too good for League One. So the point is, and he's got a year left on his contract. Is he going to stay in League One? No. So you could get the two of them combined for 6-7 million, for example, at worst. So there you go. There's your replacements for them straight away. That leaves money for other positions that we then need to badly address.
I think we're relying on Michael on play sales. I think to even invest this summer. I think if we get a big offer for Clark, then fair enough. Ballard, would you take 20 million? If it's reported, I would take 20 million because then again you can use that money to reinvest back in the team.
It all depends who else he sells, doesn't it?
Dan Neil. I'd rather keep Dan Neil out of all of them if I'm being honest.
I think Dan Neil's injury coming now is probably a blessing in disguise potentially.
Could have been, yeah.
I don't like him getting injured, but if he has to get injured for a while, I think Dan Neil, you need to keep at all costs. I think these last few games have shown how much we missed Dan Neil actually.
But sorry we went on for a bit, but I was wanting to.
We said 15 minutes, it ends up being probably 25.
The accounts I wanted to just briefly tell.
Well, we can touch on it more in the coming weeks, can't we?
Me and Michael do me and Michael will do a separate video on this and everything really. We'll
just get everything on the table and just sort of see what. But all the thing I would say is that this summer, like we've said loads of times, for the last time, it is a huge summer, and it's one where the regime is on thin ice with a lot of supporters, and probably rightly so actually, because they've messed up a lot of this season through their own self-inflicted arrogance and mistakes. So they need to have a big hard look at themselves and say that this summer is... By the way, whether if Speakman's in there, if he stays, he's included in that, by the way. But if he goes, I'm telling you now, if he goes, he needs to be replaced. And if he's not replaced with anyone who's better, then I think I reserve the right to say be careful what you wish for.
Well, say in regards to Speakman, I'll just quickly...
By the way, he should be criticised.
A lot of people, I've got to say this, Mike. A lot of people say about Speakman, they compare his recruitment to the days of Methven and Donald. Now that's the worst period in our history, as far as I'm concerned. So I think you should judge on Speakman on his recruitment, not comparing it to that sort of period, because that was one of the worst recruitment.
Well, that's true. I think these last two windows with Speakman you can certainly criticise.
Absolutely.
But I still stand by the fact, I don't buy this idea.
He's done more good than bad, you see.
That's my point. That's my point. But what I will say is, again, excuse me language, if he fucks up this summer, I'm done with him.
There's no room for any other.
If he screws up this summer, and I'm talking, if you get the big money in and he's choosing not to invest a lot of the money from the player sales, if that happens, I'm done with him.
I've got to tell you this though. Listen to these words. Christian Speakman appointed Michael Beale as the manager, as the coach.
Yeah, and he deserves shit for that.
That for me, I cannot really sort of get that out of my head.
I can't.
So
Because I mean, you could also say in the other words that okay, the bad appointments versus good appointments he's made. He's made 2 good ones.
Lee Johnson.
He's made 2 bad ones. 2 good. Well, okay, I think Lee Johnson
Tony
was.
Mowbray.
I think Lee Johnson was meh, but we'll put him in bad for the sake of argument. Lee Johnson and Michael Beale, and the other one, Tony Mowbray and Alex Neil.
So it evens it out. You see it evens out with a 2 and 2.
But yeah, you're right. I think the Michael Beale one I can't get out of my head either because
that was a disaster.
Because we didn't have to do that. I mean, put it this way. At the time, I said I wanted just have Dodds for the rest of the season. Well, looking back now,
I said that as well. I said
we were wrong.
Let's get Dodds in there. Look at.
So all I'll say is thank you, Tony Mowbray and Michael Beale, for the points you got us earlier in the season. So yeah, that's how bad the season's got. Yeah, we need a break, don't we? But still, here, one more thing. Gareth Southgate's England at Euro 2024. Oh, look at his face! Look at his face. He doesn't like Gareth Southgate.
Mate, it's been a pleasure, brother. It's always been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Love you a bit. And we'll do a couple of things in the summer.
Why not?
Might do something on the England if you fancy it.
Why not?
But, talking about we'll get the knockouts in them a bottle with Gareth Southgate.
Until he wins us the trophy.
Go subscribe. Michael, he's on 5,000.
5,100.
I'm still on 4.
Can I say one last thing before we
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who's supported me, because obviously a couple of months ago I lost my uncle and it was a pretty shit time, I'm not going to lie. So thanks very much to people who aren't sick of us waffling on, to be honest. But yeah, no, thanks very much for the support. And for support you shown for Shaun this season. It's been really good. And I think you just need to have a bit of a break. And then
3 months break.
But I think in the next couple of weeks we can just meet up and do a video.
Meet up and
do a video on talk about the season review and what we need to do going forward.
No bother, mate. Yeah, love you a bit, Michael.
Thank you very much. Joe Bellingham's. Also, before you stop recording, Joe Bellingham sideways moved my arse.
Ends on there. Yeah, ends on there.